Jon Hamm sat with his monsters and discovered a greater capacity to show unconditional love.
Monsters wanna talk to me. No quarter drawn.
Hello, Monster Whisperers. Good day to you. I hope you are living well. Well, there was another monster sighting last week. I saw an article on Entertainment Weekly pop up on my news feed about Jon Hamm being engaged. I like Jon Hamm. Mad Men was great, but those progressive commercials.
You look fantastic. It's Jon Hamm from the blind date we went on years ago.
Hilarious. So I read the article, and in it is a very interesting quote regarding some sitting he's done with his monsters. Turns out Hamm's parents divorced when he was 2. After the divorce, he lived with his mother. When he was 10 years old, his mother died of colon cancer. You can imagine how absolutely tragic this would be in any circumstance, and the depth of the wound he must have received from that experience. Here's what he had to say in regards to how he was able to work through his past wounds, find vulnerability, and a greater capacity to love. He says, "It's also been a process of working on myself, my mental health, all the stuff with my therapist, and unpacking all of that trauma and realizing that when you lose someone that's so important to you, like a mother, so early, that creates a wound that blocks a lot of that emotional accessibility, that blocks a lot of that availability and vulnerability." I read this and instantly go to 2 places. First is the reminder of the wounds we all receive from our parents during our childhood. Intentionally or not, they happen. If you're a parent, your child will receive a wound at some point from you, no matter how hard we try to change that. In Hamm's case, there was nothing his mother could have done to change these circumstances, yet she's at the center of his wound. And something as unpredictable and unintentional as cancer still creates a wound that blocks a lot of that availability and vulnerability, as Hamm puts it. Wounds. We all have them. Take the time to sit with yours. The second place I go to is thinking about all we can learn through understanding internal family systems. I've mentioned this before in previous posts, and I'm mentioning it again because it has helped me clarify so much of what's behind our reactions to our wounds. In Hamm's case, he had a very traumatic experience as a 10-year-old. At that moment, a monster was born. IFS calls them protectors because they put up a barrier between the world and our true selves. I call them monsters because they're scary before we take the time to understand them. But after taking the time to understand them, the fear is disarmed and is converted to truth about our identities. That's the beautiful goal we are shooting for. It's what Hamm found and what is allowing him to open himself up more freely and unconditionally to his fiancée. These stories are good for us to see. It's good for us to understand others are openly working through their wounds by sitting with their monsters. It's hard work, but it's good work, and it's necessary for us to be the best versions of ourselves because we learn more about who we really are, our limits and abilities. So there you go. Another confirmed monster sighting. Jon Hamm sat with his monsters and discovered a greater capacity to show unconditional love. As worthy of an endeavor as any I can think of. Here's to encouraging you to take the time to do the same. Have a great day, and keep whispering.
Monsters wanna talk to me.